about caring for the football. And, we had, an issue too during the preseason trying to get him going. Hopefully, with what he's seen happen, he's a bright kid. So maybe after having experienced, the situations that he's experienced, that'll kind of give him a little bit of a trial by fire kind of understanding.
Looking at the offense right now, it's safe to say that Scoot is the lead back at this point because he seems as though. And where is Justin Taylor's status at this point?
Well, Scoot is the lead back right now, and the fact that he's rushing for about 100 yards a game, is a pretty good indicator of that. Justin's, fighting for playing time right now, but at the same time, we just got a bunch of good backs, and it'd be better if we had more opportunities to give more of them more play. The biggest issue at this point is the fact that things have been so tight that we hadn't had the chance to substitute quite as liberally as we'd like to. But at some point or other, we'll get Justin more play.
Well, you face a Central team where you're facing the third different coach in 3 years. So it's almost like, are you expecting really something different than what you've seen the previous two times?
Well, of course, yeah. This guy is totally different. He's a total outsider from the previous two guys. Last year's guy was an interim. He was a holdover from the previous staff. The previous years was Frazier, and Frazier came in like a ball of fire. And everybody's all excited about him and that kind of stuff. This guy, Jared Mack, it's kind of hits close to home of sorts because he's probably one of the reasons why Mike Adams is not here anymore, because he was at South Alabama as an assistant, where Mike ended up leaving here to go as an assistant when that domino started to fall to create some space on that staff. Then of course then it reverberated all the way back into this neck of the woods. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how he goes about putting his team together. From what we see on film, he's got great ideas about things, and you can tell that he's done a nice job of coaching his team up. A lot of his special teams look very similar to ours. Sometimes we draw conclusions by just how those teams put together and the fundamentals of those particular teams, and they've done a very good job of putting a total football team together. So we expect nothing but a tough time as he gets further along in his tenure there. You'll see his team continuing to improve and get better. They started off with East Carolina, and East Carolina is really good. They put a bunch of points on them, but they didn't get beat nearly as badly as we did at Clemson, say for instance. Then they played Townsend, who played for the national championship last year. That game was a close game. It was 24-20 in the fourth quarter of that game. So, you get you really get a great feel for the fact that this team might be pretty good that way. As a matter of fact, you almost know that they got to be pretty good. So you add to the fact that that they've won a couple games now. They beat Howard this past week at Howard. They won it. They beat somebody else. Who they beat? They got two conference. They got one. No, they only got one conference win. That's how but they've had an open week already. That's what it is. They got a real good way about doing things. So this game Saturday, we expected maybe as tougher game as what we had at A&T this past week.
Do they present more problems offensively or defensively?
They do. Well, I don't know if they present any more problems than A&T does. The one thing that we were really surprised by was that, the quarterback guy did not play for A&T. We fully anticipated him playing. The fact that he did, I'm sure had somewhat of an effect on the game. But, we always say it's up front that counts. We played with Wiley, in our third game, maybe somewhere in that neck of the woods. So it's not so unusual that you play without a guy, maybe even a quarterback for a game or two. You got to continue to hold your own that way. This team, though, seems to be really healthy and excited about what what has been put before them, scheme-wise and coaching-wise. So, I fully expect this to be a tough game.
Well, we all know if you're able to win this game going into the bye week, it puts you in a position where, at worst, you'll be playing for first place against Bethune-Cookman. Just how much is there an urgency to make sure you at least hold up your end?
Well, we want to win the game for sure. There is no urgency to not hold a buy-in. So I guess it's as much as possible can be mustered up, as far as what, we're trying to get done. We'd like to think that if we got through this game, that it'd be great to have Bethune at home, but, we hadn't beaten Bethune anywhere in a long time. So, we don't need to be worried about them right now. The only thing we're worried about right now is North Carolina Central. And I can tell you that North Carolina Central is really worrisome to us at this point. And I'm concerned in the fact that, we seem to have not played so well in the last opportunity to play a team that, some people might not perceive as being quite there yet. So I'm worried about them.
So you don't anticipate like how last year's game went with Central?
Well, last year's game was a little bit different. We got a jump on them. We got some scores early. We got some big plays early. We hadn't been a very big players kind of style offense this year. We hadn't gotten any deep balls or long touchdown runs or many long runs at all. So, the explosiveness of this team at this point, has been in question. And, we're out there trying to find it. But at the same time, we do have our concerns about, what could possibly be if this team should come in here and could maybe make this a knockdown, drag out, inch by inch kind of affair.
Defensively, it seems like you're not only just getting healthier, but it also seems like they're still improving, so to speak.
I think they are. They put it pretty good, too. And, the best part about them is that we've got a good many people. Our secondary is playing really well. Our linebackers are really running and striking people, doing a good job of fitting and forcing and that kind of stuff. And our defensive front's really getting after it. So that defensive overall process at this point has been a fun transition to watch. Coming from what we've been in the past to where we are now, they're different, but they're still the same as far as their effectiveness is concerned. So that's been a fun deal to watch.
This year, you've beaten both A&T and Furman, and both of them gave Coastal their toughest game. Do you make anything out of sort of head-to-head matchups? Is it an indicator of how good teams are?
Well, I don't know if it makes anything of it, but what it probably means is that we were sorry Coastal should have played better. That was probably the main probably thought that you get out of that particular comparison. We probably just played awful at Coastal, and it is what it is. That little stretch in there when we played both Clemson and Coastal one behind each other, who's to say what the situation was coming off the Clemson game? There might still have been some fallout there that we didn't particularly quite understand. So, it is what it is. You can always go back and draw comparisons with some of the kinds of scenarios that are created throughout the season. The bottom line is you better continue to try to figure out how to get better each week, because the bottom line is the next team is improving also, and you better be also.